How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, March 21st, 2021, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, with all 32 of the matches in the round of 64 completed, I wanted to take this piece to do a preview for the round of 32 because of course the round of 64 and the round of 32 are completed in the same weekend. And once this round is completed, I'm going to do a preview for the round of 16 as we navigate through each round of March Madness for 2021, one round at a time. Of course, with each matchup, of course, I'm going to give a little bit of context into how these teams got here and when to expect their upcoming matchups. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into it, starting with the matchups that we are going to see today. So the first matchup we're going to see today will be the Midwest 1-8 matchup. So the first seed of Illinois, of course, got here after beating Drexel 78-49. In their first game, they were led by their guard Ayo Dosunmu, who finished with 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. And of course, they are facing off against a very solid 8th-seeded Loyola Chicago squad, who ended up beating 9th-ranked Georgia Tech 71-60. They were led by their guard Lucas Williamson, who put up 21 points and 6 rebounds. They went on to outscore Georgia Tech by 5 in the first and 6 in the second pretty comfortably. Both teams are looking incredibly comfortable, and then they look to face off today at 12:10, and that matchup will be on TBS. That game will be on at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, and the winner of that matchup will face off against the winner between 4th-ranked Oklahoma State and 12th-ranked Oregon State. 4th-ranked Oklahoma State made it to the second round, of course, after beating 13th-ranked Liberty 69-60. In this matchup, they would go down by 3 at halftime, but they would end up outscoring Liberty by 12 in the second half. They were led by their guard, Avery Anderson III, who put up 21.7 rebounds and 4 steals. And then looking at how Oregon State got here, they got here by beating 5th-ranked Tennessee 70-56. They outscored Tennessee by 14 points in the first quarter and kept the first half, and they kept the second half about even. They were led by their center, Roman Silva, who had 16 points and 3 blocks. These two teams will be facing off. They will be the last game today. They'll face off at 9:40, and that matchup will be on TBS. So, of course, that's going to be a very big game in the matchup. And like I said, the winner of Illinois Loyola Chicago will face off against the winner of Oregon Oklahoma State. And looking at the other two matchups in the Midwest, 2nd-ranked Houston will face off against 10th-ranked Rutgers. Houston, of course, second-ranked Houston got here after beating 5th-ranked Cleveland State 87-56. And, of course, in this matchup, Houston would go on to outscore Cleveland State by 8 in the first half, and they outscored Cleveland State by 23 in the second half, led by their Kansas transfer Quentin Grimes, who finished with 18 points on the night. And, of course, that's how Houston got here. And then Houston, of course, will face off against 10th-ranked Rutgers. Rutgers, of course, had to get through an incredibly tough matchup as they had to beat 7th-ranked Clemson, as they were in this matchup, they had to come from being down 3 at halftime, and they overcame their halftime deficit to beat Clemson by outscoring them by 7 in the second half. They were led by their guard, Caleb McConnell, who finished with 13 points and 10 rebounds. And this matchup will be scheduled for 7:10 tonight. That game will be on TBS. And then for the last game of the bracket, the winner of the matchup between 2nd-ranked Houston and 10th-ranked Rutgers will face off against the winner between 3rd-ranked West Virginia and 11th-ranked Syracuse. 3rd-ranked West Virginia has made it to the second round after defeating 4th-ranked Morehead State 84-67. And in this matchup, they would end up outscoring Morehead State by 7 in the first half 10 in the second half. They were led by their guard, Miles McBride, who had 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. So that's, of course, how West Virginia got here. And they are facing off against an 11th ranked Syracuse side who ended up destroying a 6th seed San Diego State team. Syracuse would outscore San Diego State by 14 points in the first half and then carry that momentum. They were led by Coach Jim Boeheim's son, Buddy Boeheim, who scored 30 points on the night. And the matchup between Syracuse and West Virginia will be at 5:15 today on CBS. And like I just said, the winner between 3rd-ranked West Virginia and 11th-ranked Syracuse will face off against the winner between 2nd-ranked Houston and 10th-ranked Rutgers in the Sweet 16 next weekend. So that's what the Midwest bracket's looking like. They're playing all of their games today. The other division that's playing all of their games today is the South. So going to the number 1 seed in the South, 1st-ranked Baylor will face off against 9th-ranked Wisconsin. That game today that'll be the 2nd game being played today. That'll be at 2:40 on CBS. 1st-ranked Baylor, of course, got here after beating 16th-ranked Hartford 79-55. They outscored Hartford by 16 points in the first half, 8 in the second half, kind of cruised. They were led by their guard, Makio Teague. And, of course, with this win, or alongside them, they will face off against the 9th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers, who came off of a very solid win against 8th-ranked North Carolina as they beat the Tar Heels by 23. They outscored North Carolina by 16 points in the first half, 40-24, and they outscored them by 7 in the second half, led by their guard, Brad Davison, who had 29 points and 6 rebounds. The matchup, like I said, between Baylor and Wisconsin today at 2:40 on CBS. And, of course, the winner of that matchup will face off against the winner between 5th-ranked Villanova and 13th-ranked North Texas. 5th-ranked Villanova made it to the second round after beating 12th-ranked Winthrop by 10 points. They won 73-63 after outscoring Winthrop by 9 points in the second half, led by their forward Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who finished with 22 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. And, of course, North Texas was able to make it here after beating 4th-ranked Purdue by 9 points. They beat them 78-69 in overtime, led by North Texas's guard Javion Hamlet, who had 24 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. That matchup between 13th-ranked North Texas and 5th-ranked Villanova in the South will be at 8:45 tonight on TNT. And like I just said earlier, the winner of that matchup will face off against the winner between Baylor and Wisconsin next weekend. And then looking at the other side of the bracket, the team that beat 2nd-ranked Ohio State, Oral Roberts, will face off against 7th-ranked Florida. And that game will be at 7:45 today on True TV. Of course, 15th-ranked Oral Roberts got here by beating 2nd-ranked Ohio State 75-72. And this of course is a very close game that went down to the wire and busted a lot of brackets, as Oral Roberts won in overtime. They were led by their forward, Kevin O'Banner, who finished with 30 points and 11 rebounds. And then Florida was able to get here off of an incredible step back dagger. And surprisingly, they were my top performance and play from yesterday. But with this, Florida will face off against Oral Roberts at 7:45. Florida coming off of a 75-70 win versus 10th-ranked Virginia Tech in overtime. These are two teams coming off overtime wins, so this does seek to be a very interesting matchup. And the winner of this matchup will face off against the winner between 3rd-ranked Arkansas and 6th-ranked Texas Tech. This matchup between these two teams will be the last of the games for today, the 8th game today, as these two teams will face off at 6:10. That matchup will be on TNT. And those are all the matchups for today. But looking at to how Arkansas got here, 3rd-ranked Arkansas was able to beat 4th-ranked 14th ranked Colgate 85-68 after outscoring them by 14 points in the second half, led by their forward Justin Smith, who had 29 points and then 13 rebounds. And then, of course, on the other side of this matchup, 6th ranked Texas Tech was able to pull off a solid win against 11th ranked Utah State after overcoming a 3-point deficit at the half to outscore Utah State by 15 points in the second half to win by 12, led by their guard Kyler Edwards, who had 12 points and 6 rebounds. And like I said, following this matchup will take place at 6:10 on TNT. And that should close out all of the games that comprise of the second round for today, Sunday, March 21st. Today, the amount of teams in the bracket, of course, will shrink from 32 to 24. And then looking really quickly out to what's going on for the second day of the... And really quickly, let's see what's going on for the second day of the second round matchups. Starting with the earlier matchup. The first matchup for tomorrow, Monday the 22nd, will be in the West region between 2nd ranked Iowa and 7th ranked Oregon. Of course, Iowa coming here, sitting in that second seed, coming off of their 86-74 win against Grand Canyon. They, of course, were led by their Iowa school program all-time leading scoring center Luka Garza, who finished with 24 points and 6 rebounds. And with this win, of course, they would advance. And the team that they're facing, Oregon made it to the second round because a player from 10th ranked VCU, I guess, tested positive for COVID, and therefore the entire VCU team would be eliminated. And on a no contest, 2nd ranked Iowa will face off against 7th ranked Oregon within that division. And like I said, that will be the very first game tomorrow to look forward to at 12:10 on CBS. And the winner of that matchup will face off against the winner between 3rd ranked Kansas and 6th ranked USC. That matchup between these two teams will be at 9:40 tomorrow. That will be the very last game of the second round before they advance to the Sweet 16. That will be on CBS. And then looking out to the other side of this bracket, 1st seed Gonzaga will face off against 8th seed Oklahoma at 2:40 tomorrow at CBS. That'll be the second game that will be played. Of course, 1st ranked Gonzaga is here after they went on to destroy 16th seed Norfolk State. They outscored them by 20 points in the first half, and they went on to outscore them by 23 in the second half, led by their forward Anton Watson, 17 points and 7 rebounds. And then Oklahoma was able to sneak into this round after beating 9th ranked Missouri 72-68 after overcoming their first half 1-point deficit, led by their guard Austin Reeves, who had 23 points and 6 assists. The matchup, like I said, between these two teams will be at 2:40, and then the winner of this matchup will face off against the winner between 5th ranked Creighton and 13th ranked Ohio. This matchup will be at 6:10 tomorrow on TNT. Of course, Creighton was able to make it here after they beat 12th ranked UC Santa Barbara in crunch time, as UC Santa Barbara had a chance to win it late, but they were unable to. And Creighton was led by their guard, Marcus Zagorowski, as he had 17 points and 8 assists. And Ohio was able to make it here after they beat 4th ranked Virginia. And they were, of course, led by their guard, Jason Preston, who had 11 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists, as they were able to outscore Virginia by 5 points in the second half to overcome their 1-point deficit at halftime to face off against Creighton. And like I said, this matchup will be at 6:10. Those will be the matchups out west to look forward to, and the winner between Creighton and Ohio will face off against the winner between Gonzaga and Oklahoma in the Sweet 16. And then last but not least, looking out to the eastern section of the bracket, starting off with the number 1 seed, Michigan will face off against 8th ranked LSU. This matchup between these two teams will be at 7:10 tomorrow on CBS. That will be at Lucas Oil Stadium, of course, where the Indianapolis Colts play. Michigan was able to make it here after they were able to beat 16th ranked Texas Southern 82-66 after outscoring Texas Southern by 18 points in the first half, led by their guard Mike Smith's 18 points and 5 assists. And of course, 8th ranked LSU was able to make it here after beating 9th ranked St. Bonaventure 76-61, led by their guard Cameron Thomas's 27 points. And like I said, these two teams will be a 7-10 matchup, a very good matchup to look forward to. And the winner of this will face off against the winner between 4th-ranked Florida State and 5th-ranked Colorado. 4th-ranked Florida State was able to make it here after beating 13th ranked UNC Greensboro by 10 points. They beat them 64-54. They outscored Greensboro by 7 points in the second half. They were led by their forward Raekwon McGray's 17 points and 7 rebounds. With this win, on the other side of this matchup, alongside Florida State, Colorado was able to beat 12th ranked Georgetown 96-73, very convincingly, led by their forward Jabari Walker's 24 points, as they outscored Georgetown by 24 points in the first half itself, more than doubling Georgetown's output in the first half. And like I said, this will be a very big matchup to look forward to. This matchup will be at 7:45 on TBS. And then on the other side of the bracket for the east side, 2nd-ranked Alabama will face off against 10th-ranked Maryland. This matchup will be at 8:45 on TNT, as Alabama, of course, made it here after Alabama would make it into the second round of the tournament after coasting past 15th-ranked Iona in the second round, led by Herbert Jones's 20 points and 6 rebounds. And on the other side of the aisle, Alabama's matchup, the Maryland Terrapins would get here by beating 7th-ranked UConn 63-54, led by Eric Ayala's 23 points and 5 rebounds after they outscored UConn by 11 points in the first half. And then the winner of this matchup will face off against the winner between 11th-ranked UCLA and 14th-ranked Abilene Christian. 14th-ranked Abilene Christian was able to beat 3rd-ranked Texas in one of the more stunning upsets of yesterday's matchups. They outscored Texas by 6 points in the second half to overcome their 5-point deficit, led by their forward Joe Pleasant, who had 11 points and 8 rebounds. And then with the other win in this matchup, 11th-ranked UCLA was able to beat 6th-ranked BYU 73-6, they were able to win 73-62 behind their guard Johnny Juzang's 27 points and 5 rebounds. Of course, I tip my hat to Johnny Juzang. I went to St. Mel, middle school. I went to middle school with him for maybe a year, and his sister. So I mean, great game for him. And with this, UCLA will go on to face off against Abilene Christian at 5:15 tomorrow. That matchup will be on TBS, and that game should close out the 16 games that should comprise of the round of 32. And once the round of 32 is complete, I will do a preview for the round of 16 as we inch through this round one game at a time. With that said, I want to thank everyone once again for listening to all 19 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well. Today is Sunday, March 21st, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, signing off. Peace out.